Yes, Jen.
Kayleigh, thank you. Broadly, what does the president want to achieve by going to Kenosha tomorrow, and what is his or the White House's response to local and state leaders encouraging him not to come at this time?
So, two things. First, the president wants to visit hurting Americans. He shows up just like he showed up this weekend in Louisiana and Texas in response to Hurricane Laura. So he wants to show up in the city that's hurting. And also, I think it's just important to note that our federal response, look, in Kenosha and Minneapolis, there was violence on the streets. And literally within 24 hours, you saw a turnaround when federal officials came in. So I think highlighting that the federal government has done a lot in the way of using law and order to create peace, but showing up for hurting Americans is the primary concern.
Just to follow up on that, like he didn't show up in Portland, where there were also protests that he talked about a lot. Is it not also because Wisconsin is such an important political state?
The president's showing up to see hurting Americans. He goes to several states each and every week, and this is another one in a long line of many. Yes.
Kayleigh, coronavirus infections have now reached 6 million in the U.S., over 180,000 dead. Why was the president retweeting a report over the weekend that appeared to suggest the death toll was much lower than that?
The president's...
Do you believe the number is low?
The president was referring to a CDC, new information that came out from the CDC that showed that 94% rather of cases of fatalities were not just COVID alone. There was another comorbidity or extenuating matter. So he was just pointing to those numbers, but we're encouraged to see a drop in cases, deaths, hospitalizations, and very encouraged that we have one of the lowest case fatality rates in the world. In fact, ours is 3.1%. EU and UK together is 10.5%. So we're encouraged that our therapeutics are working and saving lives thanks to the hard work of President Trump tearing down bureaucratic barriers.
Number, is he trying to downplay the death toll and the
No, he was highlighting new CDC information that came out that was worth noting. Yes.
I want to ask you about one of the president's other tweets this weekend. He took a video or retweeted a video of a caravan of people driving into Portland with Trump and American flags flying. He called them great patriots. What about that image does the president see as patriotic? And ostensibly you're talking about people going into a city in which they don't live, presumably to protect property they don't own. What's patriotic about that activity?
The president was highlighting that these were good Americans going in to peacefully be a part of a protest and show their voice. And, you know, that's what he was noting by the tweet and highlighting the video, which he routinely does.
What about the video of them scuffling, shooting paintballs at people, getting in the mix with people? Is that patriotic activity?
I don't think the president's seen that video, nor have I. But if you're going to ask about paintballs, it's incredible that for 90 days I've stood at this podium talking about officers who have been lasers flashed in their eyes in an attempt to blind them, commercial-grade fireworks being thrown at them, a church right out here burning down, the people that were harassed and yelled at, Senator Rand Paul, Dan Bongino, right out here. And you're going to ask me about a paintball video when, in fact, for 90 days we've seen horrific violence by Antifa, a radical anarchist organization. You're going to ask me about a paintball video I've yet to see, and neither is the president.